Welcome, I'm Christopher McKenzie, and this is the Lunch and Learn webinar on financial reporting. Today we're going to be giving you an illustration of the powerful functionality that we have within Financials for Office 365. So today we'll be hopping into the essential product within there that we demonstrate, Financials for Office 365. Today we'll be working out of the web experience, giving you the illustration of the financial reporting both within Financials for Office 365, what we call the analyzing functionality in regards to reporting, as well as giving you an illustration of how we can consume the information within Financials for Office 365 and put it into other programs. So let's have a look at the agenda for today. So businesses capture a tremendous amount of data through daily activities. This data, which reflects such things as the organization's sales figures, purchases, operational expenses, employee salaries, and budgets, can become valuable information or business intelligence for decision makers. Our software contains a number of features to help you gather and analyze and share your company data's information. So today, we aim to illustrate the variety of options when it comes to reporting for your business through Financials for Office 365. We'll try and show you that powerful reporting, how simple it is, and the fact that you can scale with your business so you can move up the way you analyze and report on your business's practices and improve it as your business improves. So showing you how Financials for Office 365 can scale with your business. We'll start off giving you an illustration of what we call baseline reporting. Now these are just the usual reports that you use day in, day out. Income statements, financial position statements or balance sheets, as well as having a look at that profit and loss functionality. And we'll show you through the program how using things like what we call dimensional reporting and splice and dice filtering, how we can empower the reports that we use there. Analyze reporting is how we go in and provide that extra level of detail and power that we can get in the system. We'll show you how easy it is just to set them up, and how it's just a combining of preset columns and line templates that you get straight away out of the software. And then we'll explore the concept of add-in reporting. Add-in enhanced reporting is an additional form of reporting that we can do. And we'll show you through a couple of extra programs how you have that extra power within the Office 365 suite. So what is baseline reporting? As we said, it's the everyday reports that you use throughout the software. Income statements, balance sheets, profit and loss statements, and it's going through that sort of functionality that we got within the system.
Now, if you attended our Financials Management Lunch and Learn webinar, you would have remembered me discussing a concept called dimensional analysis, or simply put, dimensions. So let's just try and see if we can have a recap on what dimensions means. A dimension is data that you attach to an entry, such as a kind of marker. So this is essentially just analyzing information that you enter into the system. Now, similar characteristics and easily retrievable. So all these groups of information just for analysis purposes. Each dimension can have an unlimited series of dimensional values. Now these are essentially the subunits of that dimension. But of course, me providing you with the definition that you can get off the Microsoft website is great, but it's always important to actually hop into the program and have a look at what I'm talking about. Give that visualization. So, right now, I'm in the actual program itself, and I'm looking at the different dimensions that come stock standard that you might want to utilize within your system. Now, analyzing data by dimensions gives you greater insight into your business and can allow you to evaluate information such as how your business is growing, operating, how it is thriving, where it's not thriving, as well as being able to tell you where you need to allocate more resources in those specific areas. So the different types of dimensions are just different ways to tag information. So we've got departments there. You've heard me talk about in the past about the stock standard departments that would be within an income statement. So sales, operations, administration. But today I'm going to show you one of the dimensions that I think is very powerful. Now it could be cost center, it could be area, but today I've just set up. I'm just going to look at the area code. Now, it is important to note that if you're in the webinar, please try and mute yourself because sometimes the people do pop up and I can hear you saying what a great program it is. So what we're using right now is just the different area codes or different regions within Australia and New Zealand for tagging information within the system. Now, you might notice here that these dimension or values, they do have the same feature or functionality as your chart of accounts do in the way that they're organized. So they actually have totaling amounts. So we can use these accounts such as New South Wales total or Australia total to consolidate the entries that are tagged with this dimension and then view that consolidated amount. Yep, sure, I'm showing you the actual dimensions, but let's actually have a look at them in action now. So I'm just going to hop into my chart of accounts and have a look at some of our stock standard reports. Naturally, you've seen income statements, balance sheets, and trial balances before. Let's just pop into one of the financial analysis forms and have a look at our net change against our budget. So the only requirement that you have to do here straight away is specifically a date filter. That's just a date period. Now, this is one of the ways that we can filter down and slice and dice the information that we're gathering. So let's just choose the last financial year. Now, it is important to note that any of the stock standard reports within financials you can create as a PDF, a Word document, Excel document, and you can even schedule for them to be prompted to occur on a regular periodic basis. But let's just start off by creating this PDF. Now it does happen that quickly. And straight away I just have a statement of my financial performance over this period. We can see that showing the current period, the year-to-date, the net change against the budgeted amounts, and the variance percentage. Well, what if we want to get more specific information taken from the system? Let's hop back into our financial analysis report. Choose the same one. Go for the same period. Now, I might want to choose a specific budget to utilize. Go for that. We can now use some of our specific dimensions within this aspect. We've got departments that we saw here. You also have the option to put it up against a specific project. Let's set this one up for sales. I don't feel like putting it against my project. Let's pick a different one. Maybe we can go even bigger. Actually put it for your business units. It is important to note that when you purchase financials for Office 365, you can incorporate multiple entities or multiple companies within the system. Right now, my database is running out of what we call Cronus Australia. In this database, I do actually have two additional companies, Cronus USA and Cronus Consolidated. But let's get into that in more detail in a sec. So let's just generate this PDF document. This is pre-sales, so hopefully it all goes well. And there we go. Because we have a specific date applied and our current period is incorporating the budget, obviously we're not going to have a budget afterwards because we've chosen the 2014 one. Perfect, exactly what we wanted. So that's just one example of how you can splice and dice and get specific data out of the system. Now, on top of being able to do this utilization of dimensional tagging and filtering, there is also the functionality to incorporate an additional currency into the way that you account for your business. So, right now, I'm in the Australian database, and I haven't actually allocated an additional currency. So, users might want to do this if your organization works in and out of an extra company, say America, say anywhere in Europe. If you want to incorporate additional currency, you can have it flowing in real time with your chart of accounts, and you have the function just to click one checkbox and it automatically updates within any one of the reports that you'll be seeing today. But because I'm in the Australian database, I haven't chosen additional currency. So what I'm going to do very sneakily is hop into the Cronus USA database under Alvin's account. Now we're in Cronus USA. What I'm going to do now, after hopping into his chart of accounts, let's hop into finance, and the actual chart of accounts, and there you have it. So while we're using the local currency of US dollar, we now in real time an additional currency being incorporated into the system. It's giving us that exchange rate and real time aspect. You can see it in the chart of accounts as well as any one of the reports that we have here. Just an added feature of how you can have that extra level of detail and powerful functionality within your reporting. Hopefully Alvin doesn't mind that I've hopped into his chart of accounts. No worries. What can we take away from the baseline reporting? That you have your everyday reports readily available with powerful filtering functionality that enables you to essentially just pick and choose and then have specifics delved out. You also have a wide range of variety of easily usable functions to analyze your financials. We also, on top of that, have the capability to report your actuals, budgets, and forecasts that you run in the system with an additional currency. This is just one form of baseline reporting that we have in the system. What do we have on top of that? Simple functionality to delve out and achieve specifics, you might say. So this is just a visualization of what I'm incorporating baseline reporting to be here today. One is analyze reporting in comparison. Very good question, Chris. Let's move on to that. So analyze reporting allows the user to have personalized reports made for a specific role. Now, say sales managers need to analyze the turnover, gross profit, and other key areas of the sales performance, KPIs that they might have on a regular basis. That's just one example of the specifics that you might be wanting to delve out in your analyze reporting. Purchasers might have more of an interest in dynamics of the purchase volumes, the vendors, and performance of those vendors, as well as the purchase prices themselves. Whereas logistics and inventory managers need information on inventory turnover, analysis of inventory movement, and statistics on inventory value. So this is essentially what we try and get out of analyze reporting. Analyze reporting is just an extra way that we can get that information out of the system. This allows the user with defined reports where they can view different preset lines and column layouts, combined, compared, and presented in an easy to understand visual representation. The best way to describe it is similar to a pivot table where you can get specifics, but the best way to look at it, I believe, has been really beneficial in every one of my demonstrations to a customer, is that you have preset lines and column layouts already readily available to you. You can play, mix and match, and have that form of reporting just delve out straight onto your chart of accounts, into your actual dashboards. It's just an easy way that doesn't require a developer to hop in and create you a report. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to use the universal search function, which you have on every single page, just to bring up analyze. Now, of course, we have financial, inventory, sales, and purchase. For this webinar today, I'm going to choose sales. So here's just a couple of the stock standard ones that come with Financials Office 365, being able to compare your actuals against budgets for your customer groups, analyzing your customers in regards to sales volumes, prices, analyze like your inventory as well as profitability of groups. But let's just hop into an easily readable one to start off with. So this is one that I always like utilizing because it has everything clearly illustrated. So let's have a look at the line setup of this customer budget. Straight away, within the preset lines table, we have our customer groups, large, medium, private, and small businesses being delved out. And at the end, just as you would in Excel, an easily readable formula of just A1 to A4 being the way you sum up those totals. Within the column layout, we essentially just have the turnover in amount and quantity, as well as the turnover budget and amount and quantity, as well as a deviation there. So we can see that we're just using the specific identifiers that we've applied in the column number to hop out and become a formula. We can then illustrate them with opposite signs and then even just have simple amounts being illustrated, their sales amount or their quantity. I know this does sound a little bit complicated, but bear with me, because I'm now going to just hop out of the actual column layout and show you the matrix. So there it is. Right now, with the combination of those lines, as well as the stock standard column setting, we've got there a large amount of turnover that's within the actual numbers, within our large businesses being separated. And of course, because this is Financials for Office 365, we believe that when you delve out a report like this, you should be able to drill down into the actuals. So by selecting that amount, I can actually see the entries that have contributed to this amount being produced on my report. But this is just one example. So, earlier on today, I just wanted to see the product movement of a specified amount of inventory. All I did was select my items and quantity, top into an analysis report, and I can illustrate that to you. But why don't I go that extra step further? So, as well as being able to view them within the system, I can export them out to Excel. With this functionality, I essentially send out an Excel document and it actually generates all the information I want here. Now, on top of being able to throw out a report like this, what you can do is to have it regularly updated from Financials for Office 365, the program, out to that Excel document. But of course, right now, look at that. Because I've got poor demo data and I've used it that I haven't set anything up really, it doesn't look too good, does it? If I was to present this to my boss, Joel, he would say, Chris, I need you to learn how to set out a layout. So let's go do that. One thing to set something up beforehand, it's another thing to do it right in the middle of a webinar. So let's show you how quick it is to create a analysis report and how easy it is to set it up. So for this demonstration, I'm going to have a look at my product's actual sales performance. All it is entering in a name, a code really. Yep, creating a description. Thank goodness I spelled that well. Choosing the line template that we want to utilize. So for this, I'm just going to choose my items. And the column template that we want to utilize. So to actually see the sales performance, I'm going to choose the profitability. I'll hop into that. So, first thing you might say is, Chris, but now you have to add in extra filters, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, I don't. Straight away, it's actually generated. Show matrix, and there you go. I have my sales turnover, the cost of the goods sold, the gross profit margin, and the gross profit percentage straight away generated in that report. I can now even hit down and actually view the cost of goods entries that have contributed to that amount. As you can see, it's the shipments. So you have that straight away, ease of use functionality to be able to create a report, make it nice and visible as you can see here, and then send it out as an Excel document to be updated. On top of that as well, we still have the functionality to apply specific filters to this document I've actually created, and then send it out to PDFs, Words, or even schedule it to occur on a regular basis. So on top of being an analysis report, where you combine the templates of lines and column layouts, just as easily as 2 clicks, you still have that functionality that we had in our baseline reporting. So it's that combination of powerful reporting and ease of use that we like to see within financials. And it was that quick. But one thing that I always hear is that while that report looks powerful to me, it might not look powerful to my stakeholders. So how do we create that for them? Naturally, it's a visual representation. the charts. Financials can generate key performance charts based off these reports that we've seen here to illustrate live data from the system. You might have seen it in some of my demonstrations before, or in my webinars. They're actually located straight in my dashboard, the Role Center. So, back into the program, and let's have a look at them. All I have to do is select this left here, and I'm straight away hopping out. And just basically, I'm hopping back to my Role Center. So, on the right here, we have real-time live charts being illustrated. We've got our sales performance specific from our large, medium, small, and our total businesses. You might notice that's exactly the same as what we just visualized within our analysis report earlier. But on top of that, I have my financial performance. Now, not only do you have the functionality to hop back and forth between periods here, view the totals illustrated as an amount while you hover over it. But on top of that, do have the functionality to visualize these amounts by selecting the ones you want to see. So right now I'm just choosing to remove a couple of these net changes, and that translates straight to the graph. As you can see, it just immediately renders and creates the information I want to see on the chart. On top of that, when you hover over any one of these columns and just click, it lets you drill down onto the graph itself. And from there, I can actually drill down onto the net change entries, so the actuals. But I can also drill down onto the budgeted amounts. Straight away, we're seeing the dimensions that have been tagged against them, but I straight away have that functionality. Excuse me. So if that isn't the way you want to view it, all I've done now is taken that same graph and made it a line graph. Made it more specific so I can see it over a whole annual year. And you can still drill down. But I know what you're thinking. This must take a long time to process. This doesn't look like it easily happens. So, we'll make another example. As you may have noticed, those are all actuals against budgets. So what we can do now is work off what you might have seen in the financial management webinar. Cash flow forecasting, that's within Financials for Office 365. So I'm going to generate an analysis report chart based on our cash flow forecast for the previous 6 months. I'm asked that I have to include my receivables and total cash receipts, payables and total cash disbursements, as well as the surplus. Now, my boss has told me that I have to illustrate this clearly, and it has to be very visible. Because as you may have noticed, many of these reports that get handed out from other programs can look a little bit like it's too much there, it's too busy. So, all I have to do is select chart, dialog box opens up, and I just have to select new. Throw in a name, let's call it cash flow. All I have to do is select the report. Now this report called Stock Standard in Financials. All of these reports are already made. Straight away, that does come with a preset layout, and it actually fills out my y-axis, my lines, straight away. But as you may see, these aren't what I want to see. So let's adjust this to month. Make it to 6 months, and let's make it to the beginning of this year. But on top of that, I know I have to change these amounts, so that must be pretty hard, right? All I have to do is click Edit. And straight away, the entire report is being thrown up in front of me. I can see every single column, every single line that is included within my cash flow forecast. To edit it, all I have to do is select and chop and change. What I'm going to do now is just include those other lines that were requested earlier. And I want to make the surplus, as my boss has asked, more illustrative. I'm just going to create that as a line for the column. That combination of line charts and column charts as well. That all looks good. Let's hop back out. And just like that, my chart's ready. Straight away, it's illustrating 6 months performance. I can see the surplus amount. And of course, I can drill down visuals. And I can even drill down, if I hit just the graph itself, and see the full actual report. So you don't have to even restrict yourself to what is in the graph. You actually can use that graph to hop into the full report itself. So, analysis reporting. What it really is just taking a preset lines template, your preset line column layouts, combining them, and generating these analysis report templates. Now, you can have an unlimited amount. And what we can do then is just take them out into various different aspects you might be utilizing them for. Purchasing, inventory, or sales. And what we can do on top of that, as you can see now, is that easily take these reports, generate charts of them. And from those charts themselves, we can even drill down and go back into those reports. So we've got great functionality. Now, these are just a couple of the examples of the out-of-the-box, as I like to call it, reporting that we have within Financials for Office 365. Baseline reporting. Everyday reports readily available with powerful filtering functionality, as well as that dimensional analysis functionality. On top of that, you do have a wide variety of easily usable functions to analyze your financials. Now, I'm using the analysis reporting within Financials for Office 365, where you have those personalized dynamic reports available with the preset columns and layouts and the lines templates all ready for you there to use. As well as that, you still do have live KPIs being illustrated from your database to your dashboard. When we discuss the Office 365 experience webinar, we'll even illustrate how these charts can be taken from Financials for Office 365 and even placed on your Office 365 dashboard. Hopefully, you'll all still be around and you'll be able to join me for that webinar as well. Now, these are just a couple of examples, but what else is there? So we've scaled our way up. We've started with the stock standard reports that most people using smaller programs would utilize, showing you how we empower those programs and those reports. And then we've shown you a way that we can even improve analysis, have the extra level of BI within your organizations and within your program. But on top of that, we like to use what we call add-in enhanced reporting. This is basically an additional form of reporting that you can utilize with Financials for Office 365. Now what this is, it's just extending your reporting platform from Office 365 through the Microsoft suite of products. The first one is JetExpress. So JetExpress is an add-on that you can get with Financials for Office 365 free of charge. It allows you to do reporting through Microsoft Excel, costs you nothing in comparison. Well, actually, it's free. And on top of that, you can then delve out and produce some reports that we're going to go have a look at now that really are eye-catching. And on top of that, there is Power BI. Now, this is a part of the Office 365 suite. It is a separate program, and it does require an additional subscription price. But today, I'm going to also show you why that is, why you have that dynamic piece of functionality outside of the program. So, start with JetExpress. Now, JetExpress is an integrated reporting solution. It's aiming to provide users with that exactly what we've seen today, a simple way to create reports and have them provide that powerful, beefy information, that robust information, as I like to call it in the past. So let's go have a look at that. What I've got loaded up is the stock standard reports that you get with JetExpress. So let's have a look at the first one here. top customer overview. Now, just by selecting the report player here, it's going to generate this report within my Excel documents, and you can have these linked, as you've seen through our previous webinars, through the add-on for Office 365 financials. Now, what we can do within this report, for example, is exactly what we've been seeing in the actual reports in financials for Office 365. I can choose a specific salesperson, and that adjusts the information I'm seeing. I can choose a specific dimension, region or city, and they'll adjust it even further. Now, on top of that, you might think, wow, that's very easy in the way that it delves out that information. But on top of that, removing it is just as easy. Just selecting those clear filter buttons. Now, everything that you see here is made to be just the same way you see it. Just very easy to illustrate. Got yourself a variety of options. Let's hop back in the report player. Pick another one. As you can see, there are quite a few. Now, these are the stock standard ones that you may want to utilize. Now, I've decided to close that now because I've got another example for you. On top of that, being able to create a report from the stock standard options that they give you, you do have the functionality to create your own. So if you've been in a demonstration with Rocco, Peter, or myself, and you've asked about Power BI, we usually do include one that we've created in the past that we've found has been really beneficial to customers. And you actually can see this is very close to what we've seen earlier. This is the profit and loss variance report. So pretty much what we saw earlier there in our base reporting. But what you can also see is that it's producing the actuals, the budgeted amounts, as well as our forecast in the report. And it's actually allowing you to just select any one of those forecasts or budgets, the same way as you would within financials for Office 365. From here, naturally it generates the reports as a chart next to it, as well as providing you with the actual amounts and the percentage amounts of the forecast and the budget as a variance. Say if you want to take it even further, say if you have a company you want to run in a database, exactly the same as what I have in my demo database, Cronus. Multiple entities. You can actually incorporate that it takes in the information from those multiple entities, say Cronus Australia and Cronus USA, Albans one, and then you can actually have those revenues, those costs of goods sold, everything from the income statement or the balance sheet, combined together to have a consolidation report. And it's just like this. All it is selecting Jet Express, choosing to design it, being able to drill down and choose the specific areas that you want to get that information from, just using formulas, and then just producing it. So these are just a couple of the reports that we have within Jet Express. So, as I said before, Jet Express does come free of charge with financials for Office 365 if you want to utilize it. Of course, if you do choose to purchase Jet Express, we do always recommend that you take a training course on how to properly use it. Because the last thing you want to do is purchase a program and then just rely on the internet to how to learn how to use it. What else is there? Power BI. Power BI is a part of the Office 365 suite. What does Power BI aim to do? Now, it just basically gathers your information, the same way as we did in Excel spreadsheets and Jet Express, and to even a degree, what happens in Financials Office 365. What looks to gather that information up and then craft it into what they call stories. It's essentially drop and drag gestures such as reports, graphs, real-time information being illustrated in just what they call interactive reports and stories. What this then allows them to do is create personalized dashboards which they can share throughout their organization. And they say that this gives you a holistic view of all your data and empowers your team to make quick, confident decisions on what you're seeing. Now, of course, we've got a nice picture there of a laptop with the dashboard, but that's not enough. We actually need to hop in there to see it, because that's really what Financials Office 365 is all about, seeing the information live in front of your face. So what I'm going to do now is hop into my Office 365 now portal, and of course I want to keep that Office 365 client hidden till our actual webinar, so you all return. I'm going to hop into Power BI itself. Now what this will do, it'll load up the information from a separate company that we call retail, and I'll just bring up their information. So there you go. What you're visualizing right now is my personalized dashboard. It comes stock as a part of Power BI. What it's doing is illustrating the total sales from this year, the previous year. This company that we have right now has introduced a new store, so they're wanting to compare those actuals to the previous years. But of course, all these graphs do look very interesting. So why don't we actually choose one and hop into it, so I can show you the powerful functionality that they're illustrating. While you do have nice graphs here that are illustrating the information, you still do actually have the functionality to interact with what you're seeing. Right now, all I'm doing is selecting specifics from these graphs. You've got the ball graph there, and that's translating to our graph that's on top of an entire map, illustrating our customer sales by postcodes and store locations. Now this gives me just simple, quick access to illustrate that information and choose it specifically for what we want to see. So let's take this a little bit further into the comparison of this year's as opposed to last year's. On top of being able to have all these interactive reports illustrated on your dashboard, we can still do what we did within Jet Express and Financial Office 365. We can slice and dice the information, filtering, choosing specific district managers, as you can see here, choosing the information of that to go even further, even more in detail into the information you want to see. It allows you that same sort of filtering and that same dimensional tagging that we have within Financial Office 365, provides it on a dashboard to make it more interactive, make it look more illustrative, and it gives you the functionality to share through your organization. So obviously you want to provide this sort of functionality to your directives. This is for larger organizations that want to have their head of the hill really there. Let's say business owners or their board of directors see this sort of information so they can see the performance in an interactive way and make sure that you have their attention. That's Power BI. So let's now just take a quick summary of all we've been able to take in, because I know we've gone through quite a bit within 40 minutes. Baseline reporting in Financial Office 365. Taking in things such as our income statement, our balance sheet, and our statement of financial performance, and just taking it into more detail. Applying that dimensional tagging, applying that filtering, even an additional currency into the mix. Analyze reporting within Financial Office 365. So being able to see that personalized, easy to use, and even preset functionality for reporting that you have there. Being able to take that information, throw it out onto reports, and then be able to delve into charts, drill down onto that chart, see the actuals, and even see the report itself. And our additional form of reporting, add in enhanced reporting through Financial Office 365. That Jet Express reporting that we saw there with that cool functionality, being able to create reports, getting live information from Financial Office 365, and be able to illustrate it on those charts that we saw and those reports. Create your own or even use their stock standard ones. And the additional reporting through Power BI. Being able to have that dashboard shared around your company, illustrating the live information that you want to show. The last bit, let's just take a benefit statement, what we've seen. You have that powerful reporting, simple to use and set up aspect with no development required, as well as being able to have the options for your financial reporting scalable with your business. Start off with using the baseline reports, move up your analysis reports, and then go even further with your additional add and enhanced reports. So, we've taken up quite a lot of information from this. So as you can see there, it is important to always note that the financial reporting functionality is throughout the financials. You've got it right there from your chart of accounts when we started off with to an external dashboard.
Well, we've talked over quite a bit in the last 40 minutes. So, as we said, Q&A is one of the key areas to this webinar. So we get the people that are interested in Financial Office 365 to contribute and provide us with questions they have on this sort of functionality. So, let's begin. Alvin, are there any questions in our message board?
Yeah, Tim Miller had one earlier. It's about currency set per account.
Okay.
I have used USD account. I want to have a single account converted into Australian dollars when I generate my report.
Okay. So, Tim, the question is if a currency has to be set per account, if I have a US dollar account and want to have that single account converted into Australian dollars when I generate a report, maybe that's you're in the US and you want to have it being sent out to your Australian stakeholders in a more understandable way. Yep, that functionality is there. Just to give an illustration of that, let's hop back into Finance. Quickly show you one of these reports that give you that sort of functionality. Let's just hop into this one. So I'm back in Cronus USA now, and what I'm seeing is the two additional currencies.
He's asking about a single bank account that is used in USD to be displayed in Australian dollar when viewing the report.
Yep, that functionality is still there too. So yeah, you can have a bank account with US dollars being illustrated as Australian dollars in a report. That is part of that is a good aspect that we did cover in the currencies aspect, but now because you're going into financial reporting, it is important to have that. So yes, you still have that functionality. Okay, so Alvin, do we have any other questions in regards to financial reporting?
Derek's asking about the templating work. Does it work the same way for PowerPoint as it does for Excel? Does it work for Word as well? Or?
Okay, so are you asking? All right, so is that question? Could you just bring that up on the message board there? Yep. Alvin, can you just bring it up on the message board, John? So I can see it. I'll scroll up. Okay, yep. So, templating, does it work same way for Word, PPT, as for Excel? So, in reference to our analysis report, I guess you're trying to ask, does it work so that I can send it out just as easily to Word and Excel and PPT as you did in Excel? Let's just hop back into the program. So we work into Word. We can send it out to Word. I'll just produce you an actual report now in Word. Let's just go to one we saw earlier. I'll set that red filter. Now, we go send to. So as you can see here, we can send it out to Excel documents and Word documents, but unfortunately we can't send it out to PowerPoint documents. So I think that's Microsoft's way of telling us that don't want to use PowerPoints too much. I'm sorry, we can't send it out to PPTs, but we can send it out to Word documents just as easily. Yeah, I guess a solution for that would be just to say if you had to illustrate it on a PPT, throw it out from that Word document into that Power presentation.
Another one was who can help Jamie about Power BI. I guess it's really leading you to a partner with Jamie, giving you partner details so you can do Power BI. So you can do that for you.
Yeah, Alvin's right. So just because Financial Office 365 focuses on our growth, we do have a wide partner network that operates with all the other Microsoft Suite programs. So we can easily provide you with the details of a partner that operates and does professionally focus efforts towards Power BI. We'll make sure that we maybe provide you with those details after this webinar.
So the last question we have is, it's a follow-up from Tim's question. Can it be set to a fixed rate relating to an end of financial year for past year reporting?
Yep, Tim, you can. So our currencies can be set to a fixed rate when having that exchange rate translated over. We'll just hop into our currencies now and show you. So right there, you have each one of our external currencies being illustrated. And as you can see, we've got the Australian dollar there being illustrated as a foreign currency because we're in the currency USA. And what it's showing us is that fixed exchange rate being applied to this currency at this time. As we discussed in the financial management webinar, do have the functionality to incorporate web services in regards to exchange rates. Being able to link up the exchange rates you have to an external website. I've got it set there to Yahoo. Everyone that loves Microsoft said, well, you probably said I should have set it up to something like Bing, but yeah, it's fine. Yahoo works for me. Okay, so we've answered all the message board questions, I believe. It is important to note that, yeah, we love hearing from you as well. So if you have any questions that you just want to throw at us right now, based on what you've seen here today, feel free to just unmic yourself and, yeah, just say it out loud so everyone can hear. Well, got my program timed out. As we know, we want to keep financials live and going. It seems that we've got, one more question. Okay, this is one from Roger. Can you easily embed other BI tools into the reporting menu? So, Roger, are you asking if is there the functionality to have, I'd say, external programs operating through financials for Office 365? Very good. So yeah, because Financials for Office 365 is a Microsoft program, anything with like what we call a baseline integration with financials is possible. As you guys might have seen in the top left corner there, we have what we call the name of the product that powers Financials for Office 365, Microsoft Dynamics. So really, it always depends on the other programs you might want to send that information through to. Roger, if you could send Alvin a list of the programs, I'd say, or the websites, I guess, that you want that information utilized from Financials for Office 365 to, that is fully capable, so we'll be able to incorporate that as well. Hopefully that will be able to provide you with a more detailed and more specific answer on that. Great. So, looks like we've got 5 minutes here. If anyone has any more questions, please feel free to ask. Very good. Well, it looks like we don't have any more additional questions for our webinar today. It is important to note that this webinar will be put up, as it has been recorded, onto our website. So you'll be able to refer customers or any one of your individual stakeholders that might be interested in this financial reporting functionality from Financials for Office 365, so that was so much during this webinar. If they want to see this functionality at a later date, you do have the functionality to see it through our website, through our recording. Great. No worries. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed our webinar today, our Lunch and Learn on financial reporting. This Friday, there is booked another Lunch and Learn at the same time, 12 o'clock, midday, so we can have an in-depth look at the warehousing function within Financials for Office 365. So I hope I can see you all there. Great. All right, so that's us for today. Thank you everyone for attending.